All right, gonna wrap up the year 2024. Be a little cliche there. Head on into 2025, which is a crazy thing for me to think about seeing on the calendar, but also pretty awesome. And I want to chat about something I wanted to discuss yesterday and got sidetracked, as things normally go. But Happy New Year's Eve to anyone who catches this before tomorrow. And if you're catching this later on, Happy New Year's. But man, I just had something so cool happen to me the other day. In Colorado, there's a coffee chain called Ziggi's. And I'll be 100% honest with you. One, I've never had a full hot cup of coffee in my life, maybe a sip. And two, I've never really had a coffee that I've liked. It's really just the caffeine and then the ritual around it, and just the addiction to it in general that I supremely enjoy. But in the town I live in, there's a Ziggi's, and I go in there pretty regularly. And they kind of treat me like a regular, which is like, I don't know, it's just the coolest feeling for me in the world. I never really had that in this sense. I never really had that feeling. And I think I've always deep down inside wanted to be a regular. When I first moved to Boston a long time ago for school, there was this breakfast place I used to go to in Brookline. It was called Martin's. I used to go in there all the time. Basically bankrupted myself eating breakfast food when I first moved to the city. But I didn't get to know them well enough, even as much as I went in there. Maybe I was too shy or they just didn't care. They were too busy. But went in there a lot, but didn't get that regular vibe. But I do at this coffee shop. And it's just the coolest feeling in the world. And I share this because, I'll show up and you get on the speaker and, hey, can I have, the same basic order I order every single time? Cold brew, black. My buddy's, I think 11-year-old daughter told me I was basic because I ordered that. And I was like, thank you. And then my buddy told me that he said, I don't think that's a good thing. But anyway, I go in, I order the same thing every single time. And a lot of the times they don't even ask for a name. They just know it's me. And that's amazing. And every time I go in there, they're just really friendly. And they also do this thing. They give out like cards, holiday cards, full name on there. I don't know how many of their patrons, is that what we're called? I don't know. Customers. I don't know how many of their customers that they do that for. Maybe it's all of them. That's what they say. That's all the customers. But it's just nice little Christmas card. I don't know. It was just this little simple gesture that to me just made my week fucking great and my day amazing. And man, I hope I make sure they know how awesome it is to feel that way and receive that from them. And again, I've talked about this before. We don't always know the impact we have on other people. Like literally, I just couldn't be taken down from my day because of that. So it's just absolutely awesome. So I just wanted to share that. Like one of the themes here was just keep finding those little moments that you can just have like just extra sweet joy and awesomeness out of, because I think there's a lot more of the little ones that add up than the big ones in life. And if you can pay attention to the little ones, damn, things feel good. End of the year, stuff flies by. I think everybody says this, and maybe it doesn't fly by, but it's like, I just feel like as you get a little bit older, you just have more stuff going on in your life. Your friends have more stuff going on. So it does seem like we're watching life on 1.5x compared to when I was younger. And that's just like a really wild thing. And sometimes my wife and I will look at a year or whatever, and we'll be like, wow, what did we do? We didn't do anything. We didn't get anything done. And one of the little year-end exercises that we do is we just kind of sit in front of a whiteboard. We have like a big whiteboard in her office. You could do this anywhere, a piece of paper. Just draw it on the wall with a marker. But we sit in front of the whiteboard and we just jot things up there, like notable things we felt like happened. And then by the end of the little exercise, there's not even enough room on the whiteboard, especially if you just write up things that were like meaningful to you. And it's cool because at first like it takes a second to get things going, and then like everything starts getting filled in. And I think sometimes it's just fun to take inventory, good or bad, of what's going on in your life. And I'm also, I don't mind the corny and the cliche as much as I used to. So it's like, people come in and I'm on Instagram way more than I should be, but whatever. I like it. And, you see people being like, don't do New Year's resolutions or blah, 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 blah. And I kind of like it. I like that if you get that jonesed up by a date in the calendar, man, we got a place to start. I think that's fantastic. So, it's like a couple of people in the gym sharing their New Year's resolutions, and a friend of mine shared one, and his was fantastic. And I would struggle with this one. His was not to, I think, buy or consume anything from a gas station. He travels and drives a lot. And so that's sort of like his little treat to himself. And you're not going into a gas station and getting like a spinach salad, right? Like you're going into a gas station, you're buying like sour cream and onion Fritos or Lay's potato chips. And then you're buying, maybe because you want to feel good. And, you read about the zone diet once, you're buying like some hard-boiled eggs. And you're dropping those into the chip bag and then crushing them up. And you have like a poor man's Scotch egg. And then on the way out, you're like, king-size Reese's wouldn't kill me. And then you're like, ooh, look, Monster has this new flavor out and the can is so pretty. And that's how and then the next thing you know, you're buying like, unfiltered Marlboro Reds. I'm not speaking from personal experience. Yeah, I don't eat eggs. No, I'm just kidding. Where was I even going with this? But his New Year's resolution is to not eat anything from, consume anything from gas stations. I think that's fantastic. And one of the things we were chatting about was like, I think one thing that's hard about, and I love that. One thing that's hard about New Year's resolutions is they do always feel like all or nothing. And it's very easy with them. Like once you screw them up, you're like, screw it. I ended up going to the gas station and I got something moderately healthy. But, I screwed up my resolution, so let's just dump it all down the drain. We're very black and white. And so I was saying, like, you got to have some sort of penalty, like not necessarily a punishment that's like horrible, but something really simple. And that kind of like where if you have a mess up, you're still incentivized to get back on track. And we went through a bunch of things. And I finally thought of something, and I haven't shared it with him yet, but I was like, I think you should have just a text, to text an accountability buddy. Find somebody who will just kind of receive that text and be like, give it like the thumbs up or thumbs down or like, like, hey man, nice job, back on it tomorrow. And I think that's like a great way to do a challenge rather than like some leaderboard or I don't know. I joked with him. I was like, you should just have to give your daughter, he has a young daughter, $5 and just let her do whatever with it, like whether she wants to eat it or stick it up her sister's nose or throw it on the ground. But he was like, yeah, I'd probably give her 20 if she asked for 5. So I guess I'm not a parent, but I can see how that rolls. But anyway, an accountability buddy, that's an episode right there. I've had a lot of good ones in my time. Still got a bunch out there. But yeah, you got to have one. I think that's a good thing to have for a challenge. If you do a New Year's resolution, just let somebody know, hey, I'm doing a resolution, and if the wheels blow off the cart, I'm going to text you and let you know, and you can help me get back on track. Oh man, let's wrap it up. Workout. Well, today at the gym, the CrossFit affiliate programming that Mafia follows has been doing a bunch of retests, which I could complain about anything. So, one part of me thinks that's silly, but another part of me has actually really liked the end of the year retests. And, some things I've been better at and some things I've been worse at. So that's really cool. But they did like a partner workout. It was AMRAP 20 with a partner, 24 box jump overs, 24 power snatches, 95-65, 24 overhead squats, 24 knees to elbow, and then 24 calories on a bike. AMRAP 20, split the work however you want with your buddy. And they did that last year, obviously, 2024. And then they repeated it this year right before we roll into 2025. And I coached the morning classes, and then no one was there to do it at 7:30. So I did it by myself, which was just a great way to to almost fall into a dark spiral if it wasn't for the Ziggi's coffee people and my dog Riven, who every time I was just laying on the ground feeling like a sack of sorry mess came over and licked my face. And it was just a nice reminder of like, okay, James, it's just a workout. You'd be all right. So I really like that workout. I love high rep, low weight overhead squats. And I like the Echo bike way more than I should. We'll think about that. So rolling into 2025, and we'll see you guys next year.